I wanna help you be free. I can hear you call. I'm here to help you all. They call me the Huntress, you see. I wanna help you be free.
We are here today in the quaint town of Wilton, New Hampshire. Wilton, New Hampshire wasn't always called Wilton, New Hampshire. It was originally called Salem, Canada. And the reason it was called Salem, Canada is quite simple. Years ago, people who suffered during an expedition on the way from Salem, Massachusetts to Canada, those veterans were awarded colonization. And the colonization they were awarded was right here, where Wilton is right now in 1690. Also, Wilton was incorporated June 25th, 1762. Wilton's a great area, steeped with history. I want to tell you one other thing it's filled with. It is filled with ghosts, and we are going to track some today. We're on the way to the Vale End Cemetery in Wilton, New Hampshire. Now, one of the originating founders of the town of Wilton, Thomas Spaulding, who was given a tract of land here, had some kids. One of the direct descendants of him was Isaac Spaulding. Now, Isaac had a wife called Mary and another one called Mary. He had two wives. They're both buried in the Vale End Cemetery. One of them is haunting the place. Now we're going to check it out. There's a whole bunch of ghosts up in that cemetery, and I want to make that clear. According to a lot of the research on the web, there's Native Americans, Indians that are haunting the cemetery, along with a colonial guy, a small boy who they believe is abused. There's the Grover guy. Those are demons. They have a gentleman and his daughter haunting, believed to be looking at their graves every time that they're seen. So this place is really hopping. So let's get ourselves there and let's try to see if we catch the Blue Lady. Since the early 1750s, the Vale End Cemetery here in Wilton, New Hampshire has been used as a burial ground. Mary Ritter Spaulding is buried right here in this cemetery. From her marriage in April of 1795 to her untimely death as a young woman in 1808, Mary Ritter Spaulding had 7 children. Although some will say she had 8 children. She says her last child was a little boy by the name of James. We can't find James anywhere in the genealogy records. We find a Lyman, L-Y-M-A-N, but no James. Maybe that's the reason why she's haunting here. Let's come back this evening and let's track Lady Blue. It's now in the middle of the night. We're right here at the Mary Ritter Spaulding gravestone at the Vale End Cemetery in Wilton, New Hampshire. I want to debunk a few myths here. They say, a lot of the researchers say that people have seen a blue beam of light or a white beam of light. Well, I figured out how they actually see that. There's a road right off the back of the cemetery down a steep hill. Police probably go and check out the kids that play down near the reservoir down there. And therefore, that's why I think people do see a blue beam of light, because it could be a police light flashing, looking for some kids. So therefore, we debunk that theory. The other theory about why Mary Ritter is haunting this is because her husband killed her in a car crash. Well, that can't possibly be true because she died in 1808, and I don't really think there were cars out back then. What I want to do before we start any kind of ghost hunting here is I want to do a technique with black salt. It's an old technique. And what it's going to do, it is going to take all the negative energy and all the bad spirits away from here. So hopefully we're going to be able to contact Mary Ritter. So I'm going to make a circle with my black salt that I have right here. Of course you can't see it, but you might be able to see it right here. Around the graveyard. Now that'll take all the evil spirits out of this vicinity. There's another thing that I want to do is call smudging to calm this area down. Let me get my smudging tools. Smudging is an old technique used by Native Americans. And what smudging does is it purifies the air for many different reasons. What I like to use in the graveyards like this and looking for spirits is to smudge with white sage because it calms the area down. Now, we all know when we smudge, we have to go clockwise. And what I'm doing is calming the area down now that the evil spirits have left because of the black salt. Clockwise around her gravestone. In and out. That should do it. And by calming the area, what that does is it allows the spirits to come forward a lot easier. They'll be more receptive to me. And now, to finish it off, I'm going to meditate. I feel very calm. We've done it. We've calmed the area. Now it's time to call Mary Ritter Spaulding forward. A lot of people don't know this, but Isaac, her husband, was married to a woman named Mary first. But one thing a lot of people didn't know as well is when Mary Ritter Spaulding died, Isaac buried her on top of the first wife, Mary Spaulding. And now you wonder why this place is being haunted? I would not want to be buried with another woman. Mary Ritter Spaulding, I know you're here. Many people have seen you. Many people have felt you. We would like you to show yourself tonight for us. Can you come forward? I feel a cool breeze. I'm going to take out my scientific equipment now to get some readings. Now this unit right here, what I do is I take heat readings for fluctuations. Sometimes I use an EMF meter which measures electricity. Tonight I'm not going to do that because we're in a pretty vast area and I believe that the heat meter can take care of it. My EMF meter I save for haunted buildings. 40 degrees, 41, 42, 40, 39. It's very calm here. Usually when you see a heat fluctuation, there's an entity present, but not always.
Hey, we got something. It just dipped down to 32. 33. Okay, we're back up to 40, 40, 33, 34. Okay, bingo. This is where we're going to take some photographs right now. And take some pictures. White, the flash isn't working. You know what happens sometimes? The flash doesn't work because the battery is drained by the entities. Because the entities are energy and they like to pull your battery energy and make it go dead. But I always bring a backup camera, which I'm going to use right now. Bobby, we got to get this thing working here. How do you get it working? Put the light there so I can get the... How do you get the flash working? I think it was right here. Get these developed, we'll see what we have on camera. Next, we're going to do the EVP, which is a electronic voice phenomenon. In other words, we're tape recording her voice. Let me turn her on. Now I'm going to talk to Mary Ritter. Let's see if she'll answer us. We'll get the results in the studio. Mary, are you here? Mary Ritter Spaulding. Talk to us. Mary Ritter, do you like being buried here with your husband's first wife?
Help.
You know what? See, I can hear things that ordinary people can't hear, and I heard that. Can you repeat that, please? Mary, I do feel for you. I wouldn't like it either. Did you have a son, James? What would you like from us? What caused your death? I hear her crying. I do. I'm going to say a prayer for you, Mary. Anyone that watches this should say a prayer for her as well. Now let's go back to the studio and look at all of our evidence. See you at the studio. Hi, this is Cece Carroll. We are back at the studio, and it's approximately 3:45 in the morning. Pretty tired. So I'm going to be brief. I want to go over our findings with you. I'll tell you a couple things as well. A lot of you might have been startled when you saw the black salt. There's a lot of superstitions around that. But we do use the black salt so we can keep evil spirits away. I like to incorporate a lot of just old traditional type of universal, I like to call them remedies. And the remedy is to calm the area down. I need it to be very calm so the spirits can move forward. And I like to use white sage because it's a calming effect when I use it to smudge with. I wanted to make that clear. Now, with the EVP voice recordings that you heard, right up here. But I want to tell you what they're actually saying is this. On the first recording, when I had asked the question, do you like being buried with your husband's first wife? And I laughed. Well, you saw the voice recording right here. But I didn't, tell you what it's really said. I think you probably figured it out. It says, hell to her. That's quite startling. Then we had other questions that Mary Ritter Spaulding just didn't feel like answering at all, and that's okay. And then there was one question I had asked, specific. Do you have a son, James? And again, here's what you heard. She's saying I. And again, we repeated it. I means yes. Because way back then, hundreds of years ago, I stood for yes. I and nay for no. So she said I. So somewhere she had a son, James, and maybe that story's for another day. Now, when you heard me, ask the question, what caused your death? I became quite emotional. A lot of times when entities, when they're asked questions like that, and they get filled with emotions themselves, they can't speak, just like a human being. We're just so emotional, we start to cry. And the static that you heard that became quite intense was an intense emotion coming from the entity. And I believe it was Mary Ritter Spaulding on that question. She was too emotional to answer it. Obviously her death was traumatic, and that was sad. And I hope you did pray, because I did, and I feel better now. The other thing I want to go over as well are the pictures. And you saw me readily taking photographs. Let me grab some photographs here. Now, we took some pictures. I don't know if you can see this or not. They're blank. 100% blank. Took 27 photographs at night with a flash, and they all came out blank except for one. And that's the one you see right here. And if you see over the gravestone, that is called a vortex. What that means is there was a powerful energy source above that gravestone to make that into a vortex. Now you've seen all the evidence. I want you to think about it. And then I want you to tell me what you think it means. This is C.C. Carroll. I am the Huntress. See you soon.
I can hear you call. I'm here to help you all. They call me the Huntress, you see. I wanna help you be free. I can hear you call.